Integrator Media is pleased to welcome Mr. Somkant Mishra, General Manager, Keyston Distribution. How are you doing today?
I'm good, Angela. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you for joining the Integrator today. So let's jump straight into questions. Could you please provide a brief history of Keyston Industries and its core mission?
So, Keyston, to start with, the inception of Keyston happened 2021 April. And the idea of Keyston was to digitalize the distribution business, what happens in the region. So, we have tried to translate that objective primarily in Iraq to start with. And we have gone into different region gradually so far. So, it's almost fifth year into the business. And we started from, of course, Dubai, which is the headquarter. And then in Iraq, we started almost 6 months down the line. And after that, we have opened an office in Saudi. We have opened an office in Kuwait. So in terms of our presence, we are present in Iraq, Kuwait, Saudi, UAE, and we are represented by our local team members in Bahrain and Qatar. We are looking at the visibility and the business viability to go maybe into Egypt and some part of North Africa as well as South Africa as well, if it makes sense in time to come. Because there are some vendors who have said that if there is a room, we can participate in that business. So that's how has been the journey so far. And we have done reasonably well. We have been able to onboard almost around 20 vendors, and all the leading vendors, whether you talk about the system, storage, printers, I would say mobile. And under Keyston, we have made two vertical. So one is called volume, and other one is value. In volume side of the business, we have a brand like ASUS, Seagate, Western Digital, SanDisk, Canon. And on the value side of the business, we have Avaya, we have LG, we have recently signed S3C, we have signed Dahua. And all these things are on LG and Dahua, we are largely or primarily working on the commercial signage. Avaya is, of course, telecommunication vertical. And we are in the process to add a few more vendors across region, and some of the vendors we will be hiring or we will be engaging with them specific to Saudi. So that's how has been the journey, and we are planning that we can grow 2 times of what we are today as a overall size of the company, and hopefully we should be able to achieve our objective.
That was quite a journey. So moving on, as an official distributor of Seagate, what are the key storage solutions you offer to your customers?
So primarily on storage, Seagate has different verticals within that storage segment. So we are distributing desktop, we are distributing surveillance drive, which is called Skyhawk. We are distributing their enterprise drive, which is the Exhaust series. They have NAS, which is Iron Wolf, and also they have a brand Lessee under that umbrella, where they have the external hard drive. So there are 5 verticals, and these are the 5 verticals we are distributing across region for Seagate.
That's great to know. So how does Keyston ensure seamless distribution and availability of Seagate products across different markets?
So actually in distribution, it's very important to have a proper inventory planning, and inventory planning starts from your backlog, and then how does you take the shipment to different location, what kind of weeks of inventory you manage, and that's how you are able to kind of have a very efficient way of doing a distribution business. So we go through the data of last, let's say 4 or 5 quarter, or I would say 4 quarter, and then we go through the each segment that how we have performed and how does it look like, because of course we have to keep ourselves updated in terms of the trend, in terms of any new technology coming up. So when we go through those 4 quarters of data, we get to know that how has been the business on each vertical, each segment, and we keep our backlog. So basically we place our backlog with Seagate for next 3 to 4 quarters based on what we have done. So what we do, we go through the data, we go through the numbers, and we try to keep 60 to 80% of the business what we have done on the similar vertical, the similar segment, and we keep our backlog for next 4 quarters so that Seagate can have a proper planning in terms of what they have to ship it to us. We know that what are the shipment we are receiving. And one thing which we have done, for an example, for Saudi business, we used to have stock here in Dubai, and then we used to ship it to Saudi. Now what we have started, that we have started placing our backlog where Seagate is shipping directly to Saudi, wherein we are able to save some time in terms of the transit time, and also in terms of cost efficiency, it has got better. So that is one part. Kuwait and Qatar, of course, we are shipping it from here. So we are keeping local stock at all these locations, and we are ensuring that we have at least 4 weeks of inventory to cater to that particular market. So we have, I would say, very efficient backlog planning, where we know that what we are getting for next 3-4 quarters, how it is coming to which location, and we are able to ensure that we have good 4 weeks or 5 weeks inventory to cater it to that local market. So that is the inventory planning, and the backlog planning goes into this, I would say, to distribute the product very efficiently, so that we are able to save a little bit on time, we are able to save on our cost, and that's how we are planning our distribution on Seagate for different territory.
So inventory planning is very important.
Yes. Distribution is all about how efficiently you plan your inventory, and how efficiently you are able to manage your AR and AP. And these are the 3-4 things you have to keep in mind, so that you are able to keep it cost effective distribution model.
I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
So there are like different other distributors also. So how does Keyston differentiate itself from other distributors, in the region?
So what we do, so we many times, people have this perception that in distribution business, when you are doing a volume product, it's more like a box moving. So to an extent it is correct, but what we have done, we have tried to understand the requirement of different vertical. When I say different vertical, we are of course selling to the resellers, and then there are different tiers where you sell these products. Apart from that, we are working with a lot of system integrators across the region. So if I have to share the number, in terms of number, I guess we are going past 100 system integrators across region who are active with us, and all these system integrators, they are catering to different vertical. Vertical, when I say, it means that we are catering to government sector. We are in government sector also. There are different category. For example, education, travel, defense, education. So all these things are catered by the system integrator. Of course, then there is a corporate vertical, there is a hospitality vertical, there is a real estate vertical. So we try to understand the requirement from these different vertical, and we ensure that, and all these verticals, they have a different kind of requirement. Somebody would require an enterprise drive, somebody require a surveillance drive, somebody require a consumer drive. So we are, as a distributor, we are trying to address these verticals based on their requirements. So we not only sell the product, but we identify and understand the requirements. Sometimes, let's say if somebody is asking for a drive, then we try to understand the requirement in terms of what capacity would be required, whether it should be a surveillance drive or whether it should be an enterprise drive. So we try to understand the requirement end to end, and we sometimes guide them, we plan the inventory for them, and that's how we try to do our business. So our focus is to understand the requirement and then do the business, rather than just sell the product and then have no clue where it is going, what they are doing, and whether it is meeting their objective or no. So that's how we have been driving the business across brand, and in specific to Seagate, that's how we have been trying to keep our objective and ensure that we do business as per the requirement and we meet their goal.
So it's based on the requirement.
Yes, and sometimes, as I said, that sometimes when we realize that the ask what they have, it may not meet their requirement in an appropriate manner. So then at least we guide them from our side, and if they feel confident and if they find it appropriate as per the requirement, then of course they change the requirement and they move to what we have suggested.
Yeah. So Somkant, let me ask you, what are some of the latest Seagate innovations that you're currently distributing?
So one thing Seagate has been talking about, and then we have heard a lot about the HAMR technology. This is called a heat-assisted magnetic recording, where they have gone to a very, very high capacity in terms of the storage. So usually we used to sell and talk about up to 20, 22, 24 TB capacity hard drive. With Mosaic technology, what I'm talking about, The capacity goes up to 36 GB, which they are in the process to I would say build this drive. So they are manufacturing these capacity, and they are talking about going up to 40 TB in maybe sometime this year, where this Mosaic platform will have a capacity up to 40 terabyte, which effectively translates 10 TB per platter. So this is one new technology which, of course, we are getting to know from Seagate. We are, of course, communicating and sharing it with the partners across region. Though supply has not been started yet, but hopefully by Q3, Q4, we expect that it should be available. I assume can be a little early, can be a little late, but this is new technology what everybody's talking about, and considering this all this new AI thing, what everybody is aware of or everybody is into, it will require a very a high data storage, and that's where this technology will really help. Uh, and hopefully we should be able to supply as soon as we get from Seagate.
We look forward to it.
Yeah.
I'd like to know what industries benefit the most from Seagate storage solutions, and how does Keyston cater to them?
So as I said a while back, we are catering to the SMB segment, the enterprise segment, and the government segment and sector as well. So since they have a different vertical, all these different vertical goes into a different vertical of business. So let's say if you are supplying a Skyhawk, which is a surveillance drive, it will go to all, because everywhere you need a data, everywhere. For an example, if you go to a school, if you go to a hospital, if you go to the airport, let's say if you go to maybe a restaurant, everybody would require a data to store. And there are a lot of surveillance things which you see across region because of the security reason. Similarly, where you want to keep like a small office you can talk about, or an enterprise where they want to have their own data within the premises, that's where we are supplying enterprise. So if I have to split it, I would say it's a SMB, it's an enterprise, and as well as it's a government sector. And again, you can go to corporate, you can go to hospitality, you can go to retail. So these are the different segment and different drives depending on the requirement we supply.